the son of the franchise's greatest villain, and yet he fights alongside our heroes. Miles Spider Socorro is the boy torn between two worlds who may be the secret to humanity's survival. Before Fire and Ash, here's everything you need to know about the franchise's most complicated character. Origins: born in war, 2154. Miles Socorro was born in 2154 at Hell's Gate, the human colony on Pandora. His parents were Colonel Miles Quaritch, the brutal SecOps Commander, and Paz Socorro, an RDA Scorpion gunship pilot. Spider never met either of them. Both died in the Battle of the Hallelujah Mountains on August 23, 2154, the same battle that ended the First RDA Na'vi War. Paz Socorro was killed during the RDA's last stand, while Quaritch died with 2 of Neytiri's arrows lodged in his chest. Their infant son was orphaned. When the RDA was expelled from Pandora, most humans were forced to return to Earth, but infants cannot be placed in cryostasis for the 6-year interstellar journey, so baby Miles stayed behind under the care of the handful of human scientists who were allowed to remain. Childhood: the stray cat. A couple named Nash and Mary McCosker fostered him, but Spider was drawn to the Omaticaya clan's way of life from an early age. He felt more Na'vi at heart despite his human body. His extraordinary climbing ability as a young child earned him the nickname Spider, which he preferred to his father's name. By the late 2160s, teenage Spider was effectively living among the Omaticaya, accompanying the Sully children, Nataeum, Loak, Kiri, and Tuktire on their adventures. He was closest to Kiri, the mysterious daughter of Grace's avatar. The two shared a special understanding as outsiders. She calls him Monkey Boy, since he's swinging from trees so much. He spoke the Na'vi language fluently and navigated Pandora's terrain with ease, all while wearing an exopack and a respirator mask to survive Pandora's toxic atmosphere. Remember that humans die within 4 minutes if they don't have their own air supply. He learned Na'vi customs, even adopting Na'vi-style dreadlocks and painting blue stripes on his skin using Pandoran dyes to fit in. How far would you go to fit in with the Na'vi? Let us know in the comments. Despite all this, Spider's place within the tribe was shaky. Neytiri, who had been scarred by the humans' violence, always kept him at an emotional distance. She saw him as one of the sky people who brought destruction to her world. Jake is also a little conflicted about Spider. In his opening narration, he says that Spider wasn't part of our family. He was like a stray cat, just always around. The High Ground: Rebellion and Loyalty, 2168. Spider's early adolescence is depicted in Avatar: The High Ground, the graphic novel series set around 2168, over a decade after the original film. In this story, Spider participates in Na'vi rites and youthful escapades, even joining Loak during his Iknamaya, the banshee-taming rite of passage in the floating Hallelujah Mountains. Though a human cannot form the neural bond with a mountain banshee, Spider made the full climb anyway, hanging on by his fingers while the others move with Na'vi agility. The High Ground also shows the Sully children sneaking off with Spider to explore an old battlefield. They find themselves in danger, forcing the parents to rescue them. Neytiri scolds Spider harshly and forbids him from being around her daughter Kiri, declaring that Spider belongs with his own kind. Though accepted by the Sully children, he is not fully accepted by their mother. Spider confides to Kiri that he believes Neytiri would hate him if she knew who his father was. In 2169, the RDA returns to Pandora. In comics, the approach of a second conflict forces Jake's family to seek refuge. Dr. Max Patel tells Spider to stay in Hell's Gate with his human foster parents for his own safety. But when his foster father McCosker attempts to lock him away, Spider uses a fire extinguisher to break out, before helping free Jake's children as well, who had snuck back to rescue him. The children all flee into the rainforest as RDA troops pursue them. Even though Spider struggles to keep up with his long-limbed Na'vi companions, his determination is unwavering. These events reinforce that Spider, though human by birth, had firmly aligned himself with the Na'vi side. And if you've firmly aligned yourself with our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. The Way of Water: Capture and Torture, 2170. In Avatar: The Way of Water, Spider's story takes center stage. By 2170, Spider is about 16 years old. Colonel Quaritch, Spider's deceased father, has been reborn as a recombinant avatar, a Na'vi body implanted with Quaritch's memories. This Quaritch leads a commando unit in search of Jake Sully. Deep into the Pandoran jungle, they stumble upon Jake's children and Spider. During this confrontation, Quaritch discovers Spider's identity, with a scan of the boy's DNA later confirming him as the son of the late Colonel. Spider is taken as a hostage back at Bridgehead City, where he endures a harrowing interrogation at the hands of General Ardmore. The RDA straps Spider to a neurosect mind-reading device in an attempt to extract Jake's location from his memories. Despite intense pain, Spider resists giving up any useful information, staying loyal. Quaritch then shows an unexpected protectiveness toward his son, asking Ardmore to stop the torture. He wants custody of Spider, arguing that he might succeed where brute force methods fail. Quaritch, the twisted bond. And so begins an uneasy father-son relationship. Quaritch's recombinant decides to keep Spider by his side, partly as a guide to Pandora, partly out of a fatherly instinct. Quaritch even returns Spider's personal belongings, such as the late human Quaritch's dog tag, in a clumsy attempt to establish a bond. Spider responds by flinging the dog tag away. "I'm not that man," the recombinant insists, trying to distance himself from his ruthless dad. Over the following weeks, Spider traverses Pandora with Quaritch's squad, acting as their reluctant guide, interpreter, and tutor. In one memorable sequence, Spider watches Quaritch attempt to tame a wild Ikron. Spider mocks Quaritch's plan to tranquilize the flying creature from afar, claiming that Navi kids younger than me do this with their bare hands. Quaritch then leaps onto the Banshee and wrestles it into submission. Spider is reluctantly impressed by his dad. A complicated bond is forming, but Spider's moral dilemma becomes worse as Quaritch uses increasingly brutal tactics to smoke out Jake. For example, Quaritch rounds up villagers of the reef-dwelling Taonui clan. When the villagers deny any knowledge of Jake, Quaritch orders one of his men to shoot an elu in front of the crowd as a warning. Spider is shocked and pleads with Quaritch to stop. Quaritch then threatens to execute the clan's Tsahik and orders Spider to translate this threat, forcing the boy to participate in the terror. Spider begs Quaritch to spare the woman's life and is nearly in tears as he apologizes to the villagers for what's happening. Next, Spider witnesses the slaughter of Pandora's majestic Tulkun. Brought aboard the RDA's S-76 Sea Dragon whaling vessel, Spider looks on in anguish as the crew hunts and kills a Tulkun mother named Roa. While the adults cheer the successful kill and their acquisition of the valuable Amrita, Spider is repulsed by the brutality. Spider's choice. In the climactic battle at the Three Brothers, Quaritch captures Loak, Tuk, and the Metkayina chief's daughter, Tsareya, as hostages. For Spider, this is the final straw. He grabs a fire extinguisher and bludgeons the Sea Dragon pilot unconscious. He then sets the ship to full throttle before sabotaging the controls. In the chaos, Spider manages to reunite with Loak and Neteyam, helping them escape. Tragically, Neteyam is hit by enemy gunfire during the escape and dies shortly after reaching the rocky shore. Spider's eyes fill with tears as he realizes his friend has died. He helps carry Neteyam's body out and mourns with the Sullys. Meanwhile, Jake and Neytiri return to the sinking ship to engage Quaritch in a final, deadly confrontation. During this standoff, Quaritch holds Kiri at knife point to force Jake's surrender, but Neytiri turns the tables, grabbing Spider. She even draws blood from Spider's chest to show she's serious. Despite claiming that Spider means nothing to him, Quaritch cannot bear to see his son harmed. He relents and releases Kiri, rather than risk Spider's life. Spider is left shaken. Witnessing Neytiri's uncontrolled rage, he realizes that in that moment, she was capable of killing him. Have you seen the deleted scene from Way of Water? If you haven't, make sure to subscribe to the channel where you can see how bad things nearly got for Neytiri and Spider. In the aftermath, Jake strangles Quaritch, leaving the Colonel for dead. But Spider stumbles upon Quaritch's unconscious body while searching for survivors. Despite having many logical reasons to let Quaritch die, his conscience cannot allow it. He makes a fateful decision. He drags his unconscious recombinant dad to the surface and saves him from drowning. When Quaritch comes to, he is weak, defeated, and shocked by his son's decision. He tenderly calls Spider son and tells him, "Come with me." In that moment, Spider definitively chooses his allegiance. He snaps no, even hissing in the Navi fashion. He ends up turning his back on Quaritch. But can Spider truly break the father-son bond? Let us know what you think in the comments. A son for a son. Spider's return to the Sully family at battle's end is bittersweet. He arrives on the rocky shore where the family grieves Neteyam, unsure if he is welcome or not. Jake immediately acknowledges Spider's presence, pulls him into an embrace as well. Jake says, "A son for a son," implying that in losing Neteyam he has gained Spider as a son in turn. This poignant line suggests Jake is adopting Spider into the family, giving the boy the acceptance he long craved. Kiri is overjoyed that Spider is back safe. She affectionately calls him Monkey Boy, and even holds his hand during Neteyam's funeral. Neytiri, however, pointedly avoids interacting with Spider. She focuses on her slain son and offers no acknowledgement of Spider, reflecting the divide between them. By the end of Way of Water, Spider has firmly chosen the Navi over his father, but the consequences of his actions, especially saving Quaritch, leave open questions about trust and loyalty. The future, breathing Pandora's air. One of the most exciting developments teased in the Fire and Ash trailer is that Spider will undergo a miraculous change. We see Spider moving around on Pandora without a mask. The new villain Varang asks him as a result, "How do you still live?" Then in the trailer, Jake's voice ominously asks, "What if every human being on Earth could live here without a mask? Then the Na'vi people will be gone." This implies that Spider's newfound ability, breathing Pandora's air freely, is a huge plot point for the films to come. The trailer also shows Spider bonding with an Elu via a neural cue, just as a Na'vi would. In other words, Spider appears to achieve what he always dreamed of, the capacity to function as a Na'vi. Is it possible that Kiri, with Awa's guidance, helps Spider undergo some form of Pandoran anointment? If Spider can plug into Awa's network, perhaps via some unique neural prosthetic or a communion ritual at the spirit tree, it might alter his physiology enough to metabolize Pandora's atmosphere. For Spider on a personal level, this essentially erases the barrier that kept him separate from the Na'vi. He would become a human-Na'vi hybrid in capability. What the Avatar program tried to achieve through technology, Spider might achieve through a biological and spiritual path. But Jake's line about humans living without masks implies that Spider's newfound ability might not remain unique to him. It could be replicated, posing an enormous threat if more humans gain that power. It could be the key to humans colonizing Pandora permanently. Whatever happens, we can see that Spider will be front and center in the new film. He will be torn again between his two dads. He can be seen shouting, "Do not test me," presumably at Quaritch. We also see him on the run through the jungle and in the sky caravan with the Tlalim clan, where he fires an arrow at one of Varang's Manquan clan. He also seems to be hostage of the Manquan at one stage. Spider's transformation could save humanity and doom the Na'vi. His loyalties will be tested, his secret will be hunted, and the boy who was always an outsider might become the key to everything. Subscribe now so you're ready when Fire and Ash arrives. The battle for Pandora's future is about to begin.